ability to create shots for others. 33 assists, GA, in that game one. LeBron James really leading the way. Him as a facilitator, that seemed to be the role that he took in that first game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think, LeBron has shown to be a player who has the ability to kind of provide what the team needs. And I think it was really important for the Lakers that they got so many other guys going. Obviously, AD had a monster game with the 37, but, Caldwell Pope knocking down jump shots, Danny Green making jump shots. When you start getting those guys into a rhythm and making shots and playing with confidence, Kyle Kuzma and the like, that just makes them more dangerous because it makes it harder for you to then kind of focus your defense on him. And so I thought that was a really positive. But also the fact that I thought they did a great job defensively. They showed a lot of discipline, particularly in that second quarter where they were able to create the separation and basically take that on home for the win.
Sam, LeBron had just 15 points. Can we imagine that he's going to continue to play this role in this series, or do you think he'll step it up and score more in game two and look to be more aggressive?
I think LeBron is going to gauge the temperature of his teammates. Look, when Anthony Davis, and Greg said it, when Anthony Davis and the other players are knocking down shots, scoring, it makes LeBron's life easy. He can focus on assists, getting everybody involved, defense, steals, all the other things it takes to win basketball games. But don't make no mistake, LeBron James understands that he can get to the rim at any point he wants. It's all about when he's feeling that, knocking down jump shots. If his jumper's on, then you can't guard him. Even if he's missing jump shots. You saw in that game, whenever he decided to put his head down and get to the basket and play bully ball, there was no answer for him with this Denver Nuggets team. So LeBron James is just gauging the temperature, seeing how his teammates are playing. If they're starting out good and they're rolling, he'll facilitate. But at any point, he always reserves the right to take over a game at any point.
Sam, we saw that LeBron James went off after that game one victory, just kind of saying, hey, I think I deserved more first-place votes. Well, he wasn't talking to you, GA, because you're one of the 16 people that voted for LeBron James as MVP with that first-place vote. So tell us, how did you come to that decision, and what made you vote for LeBron as MVP this season?
Well, listen, first, I had no issue with Giannis winning the award. I assumed he was going to win the award. I actually did think that LeBron would garner a few more votes. And there are a couple of reasons. One, people talk about the greatness of Anthony Davis, but remember, Anthony Davis had never won a playoff series. He never, been a part, I shouldn't say that, he had never been a part of a really good team in terms of his game impacting as such to where it was about how good he was to elevate a team. We knew he had the individual talent, but we also had a lot of questions about his toughness. We've seen him miss a lot of games with nagging injuries. And I think you saw a different Anthony Davis this year. And you saw a guy that played through injury, that was there, who took his game in a lot of ways to another level. And I think LeBron played a big role in that in terms of his leadership. To me, a lot of it is about the intangibles. I mean, he had terrific numbers as well. But I think his ability to elevate guys, that's a part of leadership. That's a part of being valuable, right? And so that's how I looked at it when I made that decision for LeBron as the first, and I went with Giannis second. And I like I said, I knew Giannis would win it, but I felt like I had no problem casting a vote for LeBron because to me, he had been that valuable in terms of getting this Lakers team that had not been successful the last several years to a point now where we're looking at them as a potential world champion.
Well, you kind of answered my second question, so I got to go to you, Sam, on this. When I look at Anthony Davis, he received absolutely 0 first place or second place votes. He finished 6th in the MVP voting, despite the fact that AD led the Lakers in points, rebounds, steals, blocks, and field goal percentage. We could kind of go down the line a little bit further there. Do you think that AD deserved a little bit more recognition, Sam?
Yeah, I do. I had AD as my defensive player of the year. When you look at the Lakers, to me, they were the best defensive team overall from top to bottom for their complete season. I had Anthony Davis as my defensive player of the year. Yeah, he could have got some votes. And to GA point, LeBron James probably figured he wasn't going to win the MVP. He was probably more shocked than anything that he only received 16 first-place votes. But at the end of the day, look, Whatever LeBron James needs to add more fuel to the fire to get that 4th championship, that's what he's going to do. And that's what he's focused on. But look, it is important for these guys. These postseason awards are important. MVP, 6th Man of the Year, 1st, 2nd, 3rd team All-NBA. It shocked me. It really didn't shock me. Let me say that LeBron James is acutely aware of what's going on, how people vote. And when he made the point, the year that he had the chance to be MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, they gave it to Marc Gasol. And Marc Gasol made 2nd team All-Defense. LeBron had an interesting point when he made that point. So whatever it takes to add extra fuel to it, I'm sure Mike Malone is sitting there shaking his hand and saying, we don't need this guy to be any more motivated or madder than what he already is. He's already playing dominating basketball. He is the best player in basketball. But GA will tell you this. The MVP award is a year-to-year award. It's who had the best season. It's not about who's the best basketball player. LeBron James has been the best basketball player in the league for the past 15, 16 years.
Well, we know what we should expect from LeBron and Anthony Davis in this series. Both of them delivered in Game 1. But, GA, it was Dwight Howard that had the impact that we honestly shouldn't have expected in looking at what he did in round 2 against the Rockets, playing a total of 16 minutes in that series. How surprised were you to see what Dwight did in Game 1 against the Nuggets?
I was a little surprised. And I say a little because we are talking about a guy that's been the Defensive Player of the Year multiple times. And you knew he was going to be motivated, having really not played in the prior series, knowing that they had a traditional, a legitimate center, and he was going to have to step up and play big. And, boy, he really delivered in a lot of ways, not just statistically, but I just thought his presence out on the floor and the energy with which he played was really impressive, so much so that Frank Vogel started him in the second half. That tells you a lot right there. And I would think you're going to see a lot more minutes and hopefully from the Lakers' perspective, a lot more of an impact. But don't sleep on the Nuggets team. You know, we talk about the Lakers a lot, and obviously they won that first game. But remember, their 2 best players, the Nuggets' 2 best players, in essence, were non-factors in that second quarter because of foul trouble. And that's when the game turned. But if you look at this game statistically, the Nuggets shot it well, and the Lakers didn't really stop Jokic or Murray from having an impact when they were out there. So this game's going to be big. I do think Denver's going to have a chance. I'm really interested to see how they respond and whether or not they can up their intensity, because I do think the Lakers were a little more intense after that first quarter than were the Nuggets.
Sam, for the Nuggets, they've had 6 games in these playoffs where they've committed 24 or more fouls. They're 1-5 in those games, including the Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. And Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray both played under 30 minutes because of that foul trouble. So, as a head coach, how do you get your guys to commit less fouls going forward in this series?
Move your feet. Stop reaching and grabbing. Get in the right position. Those guys know what to do. Look, the Lakers had just about the same amount of fouls that the Denver Nuggets had at the end of the game. This is the difference. The Lakers used their fouls, non-shooting fouls. They was physical at the point of attack. We talked about how Dwight Howard was physical with the Joker, moving him around. Yeah, the Lakers committed fouls, but they didn't make fouls in the act of shooting when Denver would shoot the basketball. The Nuggets was allowing the Lakers to get in the paint, drive to the basket, and they was fouling them. And you watching these clips right here. These are fouls by the Denver Nuggets. Look, it's weird for me to say this. There's been some miscues, but this refereeing in the bubble has been fantastic. This has been some of the best officiating that I've seen. Yeah, there's been some miscues and some miscalls, but for overall, the refereeing has been good. The Denver Nuggets just need to come down off that sugar high and realize that going down 3-1 to this Laker team is not going to be the same as going down 3-1 to the Clippers or Utah, because 2 things. The Lakers may not have 3 guys on the all-defensive team, but as a team, they can flat out defend. And you know what Anthony Davis and LeBron James can do. So the Denver Nuggets, this is a big game for them. They don't have to win this game tonight, but they got to show up and play a lot better and instill a little fear in the Lakers. Because if they let the Lakers steamroll them tonight and the Lakers' confidence keep building, this series is going to get out of hand quick.
Jay, is it shocking to you to hear Sam say that the officiating has been great? Because you played against him. You remember him as a head coach.
Oh.
I mean, to hear Sam Mitchell say that the officiating has been incredible, that has to be shocking.
I had to do a double take.
I didn't say great. I said good. Now, come on, slow your roll, young fella. You don't went to incredible.
But
I don't like
Chris,
him that much.
Sam, when a coach says the officiating has been good, that's basically saying it's been great. Because you never, ever hear a coach say the officiating was good. But I think Sam made a really good point. To me, I actually think this is a win game for Denver. The other